welcome to Idle Conversations with myself. I'm the Seventh Crow, and I'll be your amateur talker for today. I'm having kind of like a sore on my mouth right now, so I'm having trouble talking, but when does that ever stop me? Anyways, now I don't know what crack you're on to be here listening to my glorious wisdom and fiery wit, but just know that this podcast is created solely with the foundation of me not being a great conversationalist with other folks, but being a great conversationalist when talking to myself. What lacks in social battery to talk to people makes up for my ability to talk to myself for hours on end, pretending I'm being interviewed by Vanity Fair. So, Idle Talks is intended to pick your lazy brain, yep, lazy, just like mine, on a warm afternoon or on a gloomy evening, with the purpose of not inciting any unfinished personal crisis, okay? So, if you're having some crisis right now, just know I'm having one too. You're not alone. If you have problems, so do I. Do you think you need help? So do I. But just like the readings in tarot cards, leave what resonates and take what doesn't. Wait, maybe that's wrong, but is it the other way around? I don't know. But my rambling is the product of my thoughts. I can't tell anyone because I have major trust and anxiety issues. So incredible. I'm not crazy yet. But I mean, why did I even create a podcast out of sheer boredom? Well, maybe because I'm tired of having conversations with myself on a daily basis, but also I think some of you can relate to my personal experiences or like my thoughts. I'd highly doubt that, but we'll try our best. Anyhow, in this episode, we're going to dive into the subject of self-sabotage. I said that like I'm in a perfume commercial, but it's actually a very serious thing. This isn't gonna be like a very serious and grim podcast. I'll try my best to make it light as possible, but do you know that feeling when you badly want to get something done, but you procrastinate too much so you weren't able to finish it on time? Yep, I know a lot of you guys have experienced that. Or, tell yourself you forgot to work when in reality you've just been avoiding it. Or you want to take a risk and take opportunities, but you ended up missing because you'll tell yourself you're no good and what will others think if you fail? Those are just a few things I deal with on the regular basis. The unintentional habit of self-sabotaging and being totally destructive to myself, which affects my entire life and my relationship. What? And my relationship with others. I have a myriad of dreams. I'm an ambitious person. I'm goal-driven. I always try to seek opportunities for myself because I'm not privileged. But when they do present themselves, I get cold feet because of my nerve-wracking doubts. I always try to keep a sense of direction in my life. I'm the type of person with a massive ego, as a lot would say. And I take pride in not having to ask anyone for help, even when I'm already drowning. I always think I can swim to the shore, but the truth is, I'm getting pulled by the current away from safety. I never liked the thought of me ruining my own existence and everything I have going on in my life. I'm not that kind of person. I would never do that. It's what I thought. I've been gaslighting myself into believing there's nothing wrong with my behavior. Not until a lightning of self-awareness struck me to the very core. Like what Todd Chavez said to Bojack, I am all the things that are wrong with me. I was only being in denial and deflecting from the truth like I always do. I've made several terrible decisions and formed numerous destructive habits to survive, but every day, I always crash and burn. If you're hearing chickens in the background, that's part of the atmosphere, that's the vibe we're going for today. That's just me justifying everything. Okay, so I don't like being called or perceived as a failure. I always aim high because it's much better to fall with a greater impact than be an underachiever. That's just how I was wired. Being in a traditional Asian household, that's just how I was raised. I have to be excellent by default. I want everything to be perfect and precise, that my mindset was all or nothing. I fear failure to the highest degree that when I have so much on my plate for school, I ended up not touching them and would avoid doing the work, which obviously had some serious ramifications in the long run because I wasn't passing on time or I wasn't producing good quality work. I always think I'm in control with my life. That time or that everything is in perfect balance, but I'm clowning because it's all a lie. I would do something good and productive in a few days, then I would slip back into my old habits. I want to be healthy because I'm overweight, so I have to eat healthy and start doing regular exercise, right? That's what I would do one day and stop on the next because I keep putting it off. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I'm afraid of something. Maybe I'm scared of changing. Either way, I was ruining every positive thing in my life. One thing I mostly self-sabotage with are my relationships with people. I noticed this in 12th grade when my new classmates were trying to open a conversation with me, but I always find ways to end it as quickly as possible. Maybe I didn't have the energy or the social battery to withstand the entire discourse, or maybe I was afraid of starting to build new relationships with people I just met because I don't trust them. It's okay not to let your guard down easily, but when you don't trust too much, it's concerning. When I'm going into a spiral or I'm having one of my breakdowns, I don't reach out to my friends because I'm used to doing things alone and keeping personal stuff private. There's nothing wrong with handling your own private issues, but when it's already eating you up inside, you need to communicate to somebody so they can be there for you when you need a hand. This is what I lack the most: communication. Because in my head, if I ask for help, they might think I'm too weak or dramatic or a failure. But asking for help shouldn't be branded as a bad and shameful thing. It's natural. We need somebody to be our pillars for once when we want to take a break from being strong. Saying these comforting advices makes me feel like a shitty mortal because I am a person of contradictions. A hypocrite who hates other hypocrites for being a hypocrite. That's quite a mouthful, but you get the point. I have a controlling behavior towards other things to compensate for the lack of control I have with my life. I pretend to have any self-discipline to project that I have my life together. When someone is being nice to me and we're doing really well, I would start arguments that would lead to a much bigger conflict for no apparent reason. I would emotionally detach myself from anyone because it's one of the few things I'm actually good at being consistent. I don't take accountability for my own destruction, so I blame somebody else so I would have the power to justify villainizing them. You never had a good relationship with anyone because you ruined it for the sake of protecting yourself. I just forget other emotions in the book. All I feel is anger and resentment, nothing else. And I don't know where all those things came from. But I need to find the root of my anger to fully understand myself. Because I mix things up, and for a long time, I couldn't tell the difference between hatred and sadness. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to properly express that I love and care for someone without still being so angry and full of hatred and full of detachment. I never really mean it, I just can't control it. I don't know how. I keep pushing everyone away, and the feeling after that is the worst. It's the only way to protect myself from past nightmares. I always think I'm just looking out for myself, but I end up ruining good things that are happening. There's this constant mentality imprinted in my mind telling me the world is cruel to me, so I'll be so much worse. Remember what I said earlier about my classmates trying to talk to me and I end up trying to finish the conversation because I don't want to go far? Well, my headspace at that particular moment is that I don't want to get to know them because there's danger in that. What if they get to know me well enough to say I'm no good? What if I let them in and they found out everything about myself and decide to leave? What if I tell them too much of myself and it drives them away? There's too many what ifs. There's also, what if they'll know my secrets and infiltrate my vulnerability to betray me? Those are the things I don't want to verbalize to anyone because they might think I'm being too paranoid or crazy, but that's just, that's something you cannot control. Those are the thoughts that you cannot easily diminish. And a part of me wants to make friends, build rapport with others. And I've been trying for 2 years being here in this institution or being anywhere in general. I've been trying to build relationships, yet I'm slowly making progress. And I don't like slow stuff, because all around me, they're very fast paced. Everyone around me is good at socializing and communicating with people while I'm still trying to figure out the words, reciting the words in my head before I say it, because I'm afraid that I might say the wrong things or people might misinterpret what I'm about to say or what I mean. Those are the things that I'm mostly afraid of. This is getting a little bit too, get to know me more than a helpful podcast, but do I intend this podcast to be helpful? I don't know. I don't trust myself as well, so I don't like me. I don't want to settle on the idea of comfortability with the broken parts of myself, so I try to challenge it day by day. I try to indulge myself in the illusion that I have some kind of control with my life, when in fact it's so mismanaged, and I'm getting closer to the red line. I was a horrible person, maybe I still am, living a pretentious and shallow life trying to find purpose or some type of meaning in it. Not everything turns out okay, and it will never be. But then I realized you can't keep saying you're a terrible person and not do anything about it. What's the use of your self-awareness if you don't take actions to remedy the problem at hand? There's this voice in my head saying, yeah, you're hurting. You're hurting because of what I said? Well, you should be. I mean, how tired, how hurt, how sad can you be to say it's enough? Are we really responsible for our own happiness? Because if we are, then I'm doing a bad job at it, Just like what Bojack said, I can't be even responsible for my own breakfast. Duh. But all my life I was told this is how I should feel and that this is how I should act. It became so normal that I didn't realize people have been hurting me throughout my entire lifetime. So when other people showed me kindness, it was, let me just put it, strange. You were treated badly all your life, that you thought being treated with goodness is an impossibility, that it's a mere magical fantasy. You're so miserable that you adapted to that state of mind throughout your life. You trained yourself to be okay with being unfeeling and to accept that bad shit that's been happening to you because you thought things don't get better. You got used to all the misfortunes happening to you that you forget to realize your life shouldn't be this way. So I always tell myself, don't settle with unhappiness. It's easier said than done. But that's kind of like a good place to start, to have that kind of mentality, to not settle with unhappiness. Because all of us, we deserve more. It's time that we confront our own baggage. And once we find someone or something that makes us feel alive or willing to live, once we're happy for the first time in our life, don't deprive yourself from savoring it. Don't feel bad when good things happen. Cherish it. Before ending the podcast, the lesson I would like for you to take away is... Give me a moment. Because I honestly don't know. I don't know what lesson I would like for you to take away from this. Because... I have no idea. So, because I'm an idiot, like I said, I don't trust myself. You shouldn't trust me. But you figure it out. However, thanks for sticking around, and I hope to chat with you next episode. Idle Talks out. Bye!